morning. You know, when I say that every time I think of good morning in Vietnam, someday maybe I'll do it like that. Well, good morning and welcome. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you stay around and see some things you like. If you're coming back, thanks for coming back. My name is Jill, and this is my channel, Jilly Beans Creative Candy Jar, where we talk about all of the things I get up to in a month. So today is Friday, February 27th. And I'm just squeaking in there with all the creative things we've done for the month. I had said that I'm going to try to film once a month in 2026, so we'll see how we do. So far, January, February, success. So that's good. I hope everyone is well. I think I've mentioned before, I live in New England. I actually live in Massachusetts. And I live in the section of the state that got a lot of snow this past week. I think we got another like 28 inches. I either have inserted some pictures at the beginning or will stick some in periodically throughout. I think I've also told you I don't really like snow. It's messy. I don't mind the cold. It's messy. So Monday, of course, my husband and I both worked from home, and it was probably like around 4 o'clock. He went out and started cleaning up, and then said, "Do you want me to come out and help?" And he laughed. It was just so much. It wasn't like I could have shoveled it. It was too heavy. He had to use the snowblower. And so then he took a break and came in, and after dinner, he's like, "If you could come out and sweep all the snow off the cars. We don't have a garage." And I drive a VW convertible, so I have a little tea cozy that I put over it. So I said, of course. So out I go in my, I have to tell you, if my neighbors were looking out the window, they probably laughed. My sweatpants, my ugly snow boots that I think I've had for 30 years, a beautiful knit hat, my husband's ski goggles, and my fur coat, because I was like, yeah, no, this is just not for me. Swept off the cars. Anyway, he did a great job. We both got to go to the office the next day, so that was fine. Wednesday, it snowed again. Not a lot, just enough to be annoying. And it's supposed to be 50 on Saturday. Yay! So I will probably be sitting outside with a blanket on, but need to get some of that vitamin D. You can always do creative things outside too. So that's pretty much what February's been. Work has been, of course, crazy. We watched a lot of the Olympics. I am not an athlete by any stretch of the word, but I love and appreciate athletes. So really enjoyed the Olympics. And in fact, my son lives fairly local, and on Sunday morning to watch the hockey game, we're very big hockey fans here. He came over, we had breakfast together. So it was a nice, fun morning to kind of hang out and watch. And it was even better that the US won. So that was wonderful. So that's pretty much what this month has been. Kind of dreary, February. Not my favorite, but I've done a few creative things. So should we talk about those? I think we should. So as always, I start with my knitting, and let's talk about what I'm wearing today. So today, I don't know if you can see, I am wearing the Love Note. It's one of my favorite patterns because I actually have knit 4 of them. It's a pattern that calls for 2 fingering weights held together, which is about a DK weight. So this sweater is knit in DK. It's a hand dyed from Trilogy Yarn, and the original dyer from Trilogy Yarn is no longer dyeing, but the new dyer does a fantastic job. So great yarn, love the base, really soft, and I really like the pattern. Obviously, I've knit it 4 times. So that's the Love Note, and it's really a size inclusive pattern. I'll stick a photo here of what it is, and it ranges from infant to a full-size adult. So it's great, like if you want to do mom and me sweaters, and it's really forgiving with what you want to do. I've seen other folks take the lace work out, so it's a modified yoke in that it's got lace work and then a tiny little bit of raglan to get the depth that you need for your sleeve. And I really enjoy it. And it just hangs nicely off the body. It's a great sweater for almost everybody. I've never seen anyone wearing a Love Note that did not look good in it. So there you go. Having my coffee this morning. I just watched Helen D yesterday, and my comment to her was, I love having my morning coffee with Helen. So in my favorite mug ever. And you would think it's just a plain mug. I'm not a plain person. but this is the Ember mug that my son gifted me. It's a heated mug, has a little pad so my coffee always stays hot. I love it. So what have I done knitting wise? Well, back up. So remember how I told you all that this year I am not going to be doing, I don't do well when people tell me what to do. So WIPGO probably isn't for me, but what I did was I took about 25 projects or so that I wanted to do, and I put them on little cards. And for the month of for the month of February, I'm jumping the months, my 2 pulls were, one moment please. So I'm keeping it all in my binder. So on my month spread, I'll put my starts on the days that I start them. So my polls for the month of February were make a gift project bag, knitting or cross stitch, which I have done, and start the Bankhead hat. And I didn't start that until the 23rd, and that just squeaked in because of the knitting disaster that I had. So I had been working really diligently on the Ankers sweater. I've been working on 2 projects, the Ankers and the Anders. Anders is a baby gift that I've knit for a friend. It's all done. I will take pictures. It's done. It's blocked. I just have to weave in the ends. And I will take pictures and show them to you after I gift it. And I was working on the Anders sweater. No, Anker sweater. I'll put a picture here for me. And I had, this is about where I was last time. I had done the yoke, I had split for sleeves, I had done some short row shaping, I was cranking on getting started on the body, and I started my 3rd ball of yarn on it, and I went, I think this coloring looks funky. And I checked the dye lots, all the same dye lots. It's a commercially dyed yarn. I was like, I don't know. So I put it on some Sketty. I use a little green Sketty that I got on the Amazon, and tried it on, and sure enough, it was like light, dark, light. So I will put a picture in here of how bad it looked. So I'm like, yeah, I can't. So I had to rip it all out. So 3 weeks worth of knitting for about 6.5 inches, gone, 5 minutes. Cranked it all off on my ball winder, but that's okay. So I'm back to put another stitch marker in to see. Since then, because it went in timeout for a little bit, I've knit 2 rows. I'll helical knit it. So helical knitting is when you're working with 2 balls of yarn, and you join the 2 yarns and you knit around with one, and you come to about 3 stitches before the next yarn. You drop the yarn, slip those 3 stitches, pick up the 2nd yarn, and do the same thing. So you're going to get a spiral of where the yarns are joined, so it's not going to be obvious, and it helps to blend colors. So we're going to try it. We'll see what happens. If it doesn't work, I don't know. I'll think of something else. So I've restarted working on that, but it will probably, it's in this nice little bag, which it will be taken out of this bag, because once I have a disaster in knitting, I usually buy more yarn. So I ordered some really pretty hot pink yarn for a summer sweater. And that should be here hopefully next week. So that, it's in process, but it's kind of like process timeout. It depends. When I get up in the morning, I'll walk on my walking pad and knit a couple of rows of that while I'm walking. So we'll see how much progress I make between now and the time the next yarn camp comes. So my pull was to work on one of the Bankhead hats. So I decided to start mine. And I'm doing mine in these 2 pretty yarns. I'm doing a pretty salmony pink, I guess, and a mohair held together. So these are the colors here. And I did not get very far. And this is as far, literally how far I got. So that's what colors I'm going to get. So it's a twisted rib for about 3 inches. Then you do the body of the hat. So it will go fairly quickly once I get started. As I mentioned, we're big hockey fans here, so I do tend to knit a lot while I'm listening to, or lots of times I'll watch the hockey games. Most of the times I listen. And in the nice weather, if there's a baseball game on, I'll be outside listening to the game and I'll be knitting or something. So I'll knit a winter hat in the middle of summer. I don't care. So those are the two things I've gotten up knitting wise, other than the gift that's done that I can't show you. Yeah, so that's what I've done knitting wise. How about some cross stitch? So I've done a lot of cross stitch. Let me show you what I've gotten up to. So I think I mentioned that I want to work on something from my priority bin every month and something from my patriotic bin every month. And while technically I did that, it was not really successful on my priority bin. So I tried the Nap Time Stitchers, stitched the Winter Olympics. I did great for day 1 and day 2. Then I fell off the wagon. So, and I had 3 new starts this month. I was very influenced by my friends. So let's see what I've been doing that way. Excuse me. That's what, slide this over. So the first thing is what I'm currently working on. And it was the last thing I started. We started with some friends, Brandy from B&E Stitchery, Stephanie, the New England Stitcher, Nisi from Because We Stitch. We decided we were all going to start this on President's Day. And I think Sarah too, the RI Lighthouse Stitcher on Instagram, is doing it as well. We all decided we were going to start Stars and Stripes from Plum Street and Shakespeare's Peddler on President's Day. And some of them are doing it as one piece. Some of them are doing it as individual pillows. I've decided to do it as pillows. Oh, shoot. I don't have the pattern. I'm sorry. I'll insert a picture here. But I decided to start with something that I thought I could be successful with. So I did the ampersand. So that's how far I've gotten. And these are the really pretty colors. So I made one substitution. The pattern called for a week's dye works. Hang on, I have it in my little bag here. Mountain Mist, I think it was, for the blue area. And yes. So my Mountain Mist was a little greeny for me. So, I mean, it would have worked. I'm sure it would have been fine, but I decided to switch it up, and I decided to do mine in blue suede. So I think that I bit off an amount that I could chew, and I should hopefully, if I'm thinking maybe by the next weekend, I don't know, March is really busy, that I could make some good progress on that and maybe get that done. I will at some point do Stars and Stripes, but like I said, I wanted to pick something that I thought I could be successful with. So far so good. And that's just being kept in this lovely Amazon bag. So the next thing I worked on, which was actually part of the Nap Time Stitchers, I started this on February 1st with Stephanie. I think Brandy had already started it, and she pulled hers out and started working on it with us. And this is, I guess I should tell you what I'm doing. Salute to Abigale by Blackbird. Let me pull it out. Do I have the page marked? Let's see if I did. Let's see if I did the smart thing and marked the page, which I didn't. But Nisi finished hers, and it was so stunning. So that's what it looks like finished. I have all my working copies here, so I apologize for all the paper shuffling. And I'm keeping that in my bag that I made. This was my prototype for what I am. If you're sitting with me at the Library Stitchers, pretend you didn't see that. I'm doing something like that. Different, that fabric's no longer available. I am doing a quilt out of that fabric. But anyway, I guess I should show you how my stitching is coming. So yeah, So I've made a lot of progress. I want to get the border done because my goal with this is to get the border done and bring it this along with another pattern that I finished the border on to Library Stitchers with me. I'm going and have some friends help me make sure I'm measuring it correctly so I can order some frames online. So I know Chris, the camping stitcher, has always ordered for, I think she uses Art to Frame, and she's always had beautiful frames. So I will double check with her if that's where it's from and order from them. I miss Chris. She's got a little bum wing, so hopefully she's feeling better and we'll be back soon. So that was my February 1st start, and it was my patriotic stitch for the Olympics. And then on February 7th, and I don't know why, if there was a significance to this or we all just decided to start it, we are stitching, oh, I roll back. I didn't tell you any of the details of this. I'm so sorry. You would think that I would know better by now, but so Salute to Abigale is being stitched on, see, I have all my information. 36 count heroic by Picture This Plus, and I did change all of the colors. So if you want to know what they are, just let me know. I'm happy to share that information. The next thing I'm stitching is Liberty. Land of Liberty by With Thy Needle and Thread, and this is being stitched on 36 count Dust Bunny by Fox and Rabbit. And I pretty much, most of the floss is the same. I think I had to do a substitution for one of them. I'd have to look, but I think it was for his boots. So, and that's such a small that I had camouflage and I used that. And that one is being kept in one of my favorite bags that I have. This really nice Hemingway bag by that Stephanie, the New England Stitcher, made. So that is in there. So I've done a ton of patriotic. So I check on the patriotic. And something from my priority bin, and it fit the Winter Olympics prompt for the day, which was Stitch Something Winter, is It's Snow Time by, is that Cottage Garden? Yep. And I am stitching this on 36 count Brenda's Brew. Literally, I did one day's worth of stitching, so I brought the star down a little further. Not a whole heck of a lot, but it's something. So that is what I have done stitching wise. So again, not a lot, but I touched a lot of things, so that made me feel good. I've been doing some sewing this month. So as I mentioned, one of my pulls for February, for some reason, I don't know why, February, March, run them into each other, was to make a project bag for a friend. And I decided I'm making project bags for my table gifts at Library Stitchers. So if you're sitting with me and you don't want to know what it is, look away. So this is what I did. And I made a couple of extras for some friends. So check, everything I needed to do. So that was a really successful month on my sewing. Oh, one other thing. So tomorrow, Valentine's comes down and Easter and springy stuff start to go out. And I made a colander full of bunnies, a bunny and some carrots. So I went to Hobby Lobby to get a piece of mat board so I could do some framing. And I saw this cute little colander. I'm like, oh, that's really cute. I can put some carrots in that for spring. So just made myself some carrots. Very simple. A triangle, sewed it together, turned it right side out, stuffed it, ripped some greens to make the carrots. And then Stephanie, this past week, she filmed, and if you haven't watched, go watch it. She showed this adorable little bunny. So I messaged her and asked her where she got the pattern. She told me, so I went over to their Facebook group and got it. So I made a little bunny and a smaller carrot, so he could have a carrot that's more the right size. This was such a they actually glued it. I sewed it like Stephanie did, painted it, stuffed it, called it a day. And I'm so happy with it. So that will go out on display tomorrow. So that's what I've done sewing wise. What do I have coming up? Wow, March is really busy. So work wise, work is work, but I'm planning a company event. Wednesday night, we're going to the Celtics game as a team, and very generous owners. We're going to dinner in the North End first, and then we're going to the Celtics game. Later in the month, my husband and I are going to a Bruins game. I have my childhood BFF is an artist. She does incredible artwork and loves fibers and stuff. So she messaged me and she's like, is coming up to go to a quilt show. And she said, can you, take the day and go with me? And so of course I said, yes. So taking Friday and we're going on Saturday to the quilt show up here. So that's exciting. So she'll spend the weekend with me and we'll do all kinds of creative things. I don't know what we'll do yet. We'll come up with something fun. And then the following weekend, going to the pizza night at Stitch New England. If you haven't had an opportunity to do that, definitely check out Pam's website. She does it. I don't know how frequently she's done it, but this is, I think, the third one she's done. And I've gone with Sarah and Stephanie, and we have so much fun. It's a really fun evening, and it's aftermarket, so we'll be able to pick up our market orders. What are you so excited about market? I am. I picked up quite a few things, but my two, oh my God, I have to have these, I must start them upon receipt, are Annie B's Patriotic Pairs. So I did Annie B's class at the Jingle Ball, and I stitched the pair, which I think I've shown you. I have not finished it because I was very hesitant about finishing. So I decided to try a pair just out of fabric. It's not done yet. It's not finished being stuffed. But this way I could test it and see if I enjoyed doing it. And I will do the same thing with the patriotic stitch. I'll stitch them and I'll probably make some patriotic pairs just to put in the bowl with them because I probably won't finish stitching them all. They're so cute. And the other one was, did I tell you already? Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. Freedom Flock by Plum Street, the Eagles. So that is also a must start upon receipt. So that'll probably be something I will work on at Library Stitches. I'm really excited about that one too. So that's coming up. And then I'm also going to a fiber stitch day through my knitting group. She's got I've never been, I don't think she's ever done it before. It's a Saturday afternoon, and we'll spend the day doing any sort of needlework, needlepoint, cross stitch, knitting, whatever. So we'll work on those. And then I have a baby shower to go to. I haven't decided if I'm going, but that brings me to my haul because, so Holly Neal, and if you don't watch Holly, go watch her. She does an incredible work. Was talking about, excuse me as I turn my back, about, and if you watch her, you know her family is big Pooh families. So she was talking about how Forbidden Fiber Co. had this pre-order for a Winnie the Pooh collection, whether it be cross stitch or yarn. So I was like, oh my God, that would be such a cute sweater. So when I knit a project, I have an entire vision of what the outfit's going to look like. And so the baby sweater I have to knit is for, I don't know, she's Mia Familia. She's my family. She is, I don't know if it's second cousin once removed, 3 times, who knows. So her great grandmother and my grandmother were sisters. And she got married last year in Aruba, and my mother, my 2 sisters, and I went. We had a phenomenal time. So anyway, she's expecting a little boy, and I just envisioned this child in a striped sweater. So if you ordered the yarn and you don't want to see it, look away. But this is the Winnie the Pooh collection. It's adorable. And I decided you probably would just skate in with enough to make a toddler sweater. Excuse me. But I ordered an extra skein of the blue. I have to tell you, Forbidden Fiber Co., great company for customer service. So I sent her a message and about it, and I didn't hear back right away. So I was like, And then I thought, well, maybe it went to my spam and I couldn't find it. So I called. And the young lady that answered the phone, she's like, yeah, I remember seeing your email. Hold on a second. And somebody got on the phone. She's like, I responded to you, but I guess I didn't hit send. And I'm like, I laugh because I do that all of the time. But anyway, really nice. And they were able to dye me an extra skein of the blue. And then when it arrived, there was a little, a sampling of another yarn. And it's not a sample. It is a full mini skein of a beautiful dark blue, and it's lovely. So I will probably get that started. But I tend to panic when I order mystery things. So in the meantime, I went on and ordered a whole bunch of yarns. That was a beach glass collection. And the girl that's pregnant, her and her husband are big beach people. So that should be here next week. So I'll wait and see what that comes in. But I love this yarn. I don't normally knit a swatch for an accessory or a baby item, only because I knit a toddler sweater. And if you're up or down a little bit, it's not a big deal. A child will grow into it. And an accessory, your item is your swatch. By the time you spent the time to knit a 4-inch swatch, you could have knit a couple inches on a hat. I always knit a swatch when I'm knitting an adult sweater. So on the love note, if I'm using the same yarn in just a different color, I might not knit a swatch because I already know all the information that I need to know, but I generally knit a swatch for an adult sweater if I want to make sure it fits. So I'll cake those up and decide what I'm going to do there. And I've ordered from this company before. I think I've showed you all before. Upside down, sorry. Potions and Pearls, and this I Love You So Matcha. So and her yarn is so plump and yummy. My mother asked for a pair of shorty socks, and my son's girlfriend is into matcha, so I can get 2 pairs of socks. So I will knit 2 pairs of shorties for them out of that. And like many of you, I have always admired I have a couple of Mirabilias in the works, but I have always admired Lady of the Flag and Queen of Freedom. So, and I have always said I would pay $100 for them, but probably not more. And I've never seen them for less. So when the opportunity came about to be able to purchase them both with the bead packs for $90, I jumped on it. So I was very lucky to get that. So I did. I ordered both. I got the bead packs for both. So those came in. I have not decided what I'm going to stitch them on. I have to do a little research. I know Nisi just showed on her Flosstube one done on red, and it was stunning. Red's not my favorite color, so I probably wouldn't do it on red, but somebody else was talking about a conversion done in blue. So I'm going to do a little looking around before I make a final decision as to what I do. And that might be a later this year start. I don't know, but I'm very much looking forward to working on those. And I am in the Color in Cotton Club. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. It's the last day of the month. I hope you got yours. So this is, what is this? Chiffon. So I'm in the light neutrals. Another company with great customer service. So I ordered from them in January. You know how she's putting out the pre-orders. And I was like, I don't remember seeing a confirmation on this. Emailed them, and they were so kind, got back to me right away with all the information. It's coming shortly. So that will be coming. Hopefully that will be here. I mentioned that I ordered more yarn for the baby sweater. I ordered more yarn for me. And then a young gentleman at my office, his wife is pregnant with her first. So I ordered yarn to make them something. And it's such a beautiful buttery yellow. Not my normal go-to, but I think it is very much them. So that's coming. So we'll see about that. Oh, and then I was watching Helen D, and she was showing the trims that she had from Purple Paper Mountain. So I went on and ordered some trims. I got a bunch of patriotic looking trims, and she very kindly included a little sampling of some trims. So that came with a nice little thank you. I love when I get a thank you note from the people, the small businesses, and I try to buy from small businesses whenever possible. I mean, sometimes you have no choice, you have to buy from the Amazon, but I do try to buy from a small business when I can. So that's coming. So I have a lot coming and a lot going on in the month of March, but that's okay. I'll be back at the end. I am going to try to stick to my something from my patriotic, something from my priority bin. Patriotic wise, I think I'm going to try to finish that ampersand. I might actually get it finished up, and that's good because my pull for the month of March is FFO, an item. So if I can finish that and FFO it, that would be great. And my other pull was start a new sweater project. Again, perfect since I have 2 baby sweaters to knit and a sweater for me. So I think that's it. Let's just check my quick notes here. We talked about sewing, we talked about knitting, we talked about cross stitch. Oh, did I talk about who I'm watching? Probably not. So my usuals, my friends, I always watch the Stephanie, the New England Stitcher, Niecy at Because We Stitch with her cousin Kathy. I don't think Brandy and Emma have had another video in a while. So, but I did watch, if you want to see incredible patriotic finishing, you definitely need to go over and watch Kia B. Her last floss tube and her patriotic finishes are beautiful. And I loved how she did them on the stitchy boxes. I bought myself a little box to do just for my patriotic things. So I will work on putting that together. I will not have a stitch to put on it like she does because, one, I do not stitch that small, too old, and I would never get it done. But so inspirational. New to me, I've been watching Five Oaks Farms. I really enjoy watching her. I also just watched Tara Sullivan. She is someone that brings me such joy, and I smile. She is such a pure person. She just, I love the fact that she, you know, when she mispronounces something, half the time I wouldn't have even known she mispronounced it, but it makes me laugh because she finds such joy in herself. So that makes me happy. And of course, my friend Helen D. I watch her with my coffee. Can't wait to see what she has to tell us when she comes back from market. I have a bunch of people queued up for this weekend. Hopefully I'll get some viewing in now that the Olympics are over, because that kind of, I watched a lot of the Olympics. Every morning I would get up early and watch before I went to work. We have a television in the office in the kitchen, and I may have told you, but when I had them, when they turned it on, it's usually like golf or the ticker tape, you know, the ticker of the stock market or whatever. And from the opening ceremonies till the closing ceremonies, it was on the Olympics, and it was not to be changed. And somebody went to change it one time, and they're like, oh, no, no. Jill said, don't change that. And I don't ask for much. Let's leave that on. So it was enjoyable to watch the Olympics. I watched a lot of that. So that's pretty much it. So I hope everybody had a great February. I hope if you got a ton of snow, you were able to dig out before we get more, because they say more is coming. I am not happy about it. Summer is going to be here someday soon. When, I don't know. But have a great weekend, everybody, to get some creative stuff done, and I will see you again probably at the end of March. Bye.